Okay, this one's for George. I'm going to teach you how to build a scene from scratch using the asset template. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up the asset template. We'll just have this open so we can refer to it later. And then you're going to want to open a new project. Let's get rid of the terrain. And then I'm just going to add a model element. So we're going to go back to the asset room, and first we're going to start with a floor. So I'm just going to take this bit here, copy the URL, and then change that duck model into the wall, or yeah, the wall, but we're going to use it as a floor actually. So I'm going to rotate that down 90 degrees. And now we have our floor. Now I'm just going to copy that and put these together. Then I'm going to copy both of these. And I'm just using Control D to duplicate these. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so let's just start with that. I'm using the spawn point as a guide, and then I'm going to group all these as the floor so that I can scale them. Let's do something something like that. Okay. Now I am going to create the walls. Since it's a chess room, it should look kind of like a library, I guess, or one of those old salons. So we're just going to add a model here. Actually, let's make it 2. Go back to the asset room. And I'm going to use these pieces. So let's do this one first. Get the next one. All right. Let's flip both of these. And I'm just using Q and E rather than rotating them through the properties box. Now we're going to stick these together. You should have them overlap a little bit. Alright, I'm having trouble here, so what I'm going to do is position them using the dialogue. Let's say 7. That seems to be good. 7. Tiny bit off. Let's try to get that. 4, try 5. Try 6. That looks pretty flush. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm going to group these guys together. Let's just call this arch. And now I am just going to duplicate that. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Uh, those together. Okay, just this is going to be my wall. Just to make it a little more interesting. Alright, back to duck, go back to the asset, and I'm going to use this pillar. Make those, let's make sure those are lined up at the bottom. Make them overlap just slightly so it's seamless. Otherwise, you'll have these areas where you can see through them. This doesn't have to be perfect. I want those to come out a bit. Yeah. All right, let's shrink that down so that they're kind of even. Whoops. Okay. All right, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's good enough. Now we're just going to bring this one. Oops. All right, let's replicate this on either side. Let's put these together. And let's make that the left wall. Then I'm going to duplicate that. Now that should be on the other side. Now I just want to line these up as best as possible. Get that right here. Let's line it up with this piece. All right. Bring it in a bit so that the pillars appear in the room. All right. And I'll do the same on this side. So here we have the pretty good start to a room. Maybe I'll fix the floor a bit while we're here. Well, hold on. Let me redo this arch. Duplicate that. It's somewhere here. There we go. Whoops. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna stretch out the floor so it doesn't have to be perfect because no one's gonna see a lot of it, but you just want to cover the bottom of the structure. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, so now we need to put in some walls. Earlier I textured some walls in Meshi, and I taught you how to do that, so I'm just going to bring that up. It's this wall here. I'm going to put one in each panel, in each archway. So let's just flip this around a bit. Make sure that's 90 degrees. Bring that up. Now I'm going to scale it. Okay. Let's just make sure it's flush with the floor. And we're good up top. Let's see how far back we can go with it. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm just going to replicate these. Do the same. Okay, both of these. And just move them over to the other side. Whoops. Okay, don't worry about the shadow on it just now, because we're going to actually turn off the skybox. But now we need a ceiling. Okay, so I created another wall piece, which I used in the remix video. Let's just use that for a ceiling. Oops, alright. Let's delete that. If you ever find yourself far from your model, just pick on a piece and it'll bring you much closer. Ah, yeah, right, ceiling. So let's bring this piece back. Let's bring it up. I want to use the side without this weird black box. So let's flip that. Now let's get a better view. Try to center that best we can. Scale that up as well. Just see where that is. Okay, let's look at that from the inside. And that in there. Just gonna bring that up until we can see those little ledges from the pillars. That's cool. So far so good. Alright, let's take one of these wall pieces. Please duplicate that all the way down to the other end. Well, be big enough. Let me just adjust that a bit. Forgot to make my floor slightly bigger. Just a touch. Cool. Alright. Like I said, we are actually going to turn down the skybox just to see what that, because this is a totally interior room. The other thing, alright, let's turn off this directional light as well. Actually, let's just get rid of it completely. Alright, here we go. So I'll just keep the skybox on now just so we can see what we're doing. But this is our room. Let's put some lighting in here. Okay. Let's bring back the duck. And we have these lamps, and we use this quite a bit in all the previous rooms that I've done. So let's go with this. All right, so this is like a shell light. And I'm just going to place that on this pillar. Looks like we're going to need to scale that a little bit. Now let's center it. Just remember, man, it doesn't have to be perfect. All right. Now I am going to put a light source to that, and I'm going to use the point light. It's need a little slightly warmer light, and I am going to drop that down by half because we're going to put in. Oops. We're going to put in some ceiling lights as well. This is really just for the ambiance. So I'm going to group these guys together. And let's call these pillar light. Take that. That over to the next one. That over. Okay. Then I'm just going to take all those and then group them together. Let's name it shell lamps. Then I'm going to duplicate that and turn them around. Whoop. I can make the finer adjustments later, but just so you can see what that's eventually going to look like when you turn down the skybox. I'll just preview it. All right, so now I'm going to find a lamp for the top. Although while we're here, let's just check our scene. Just study. Or let's go salon. Just salon. Yeah. 3 MB. This is tiny so far. That gives us a lot of room to decorate. So let's go to Best Sketchfab and find a ceiling light. With this build, I just want to do something really simple. Let's see what this looks like. See how big this thing is. All right, really small. So let's just play with that. All right, I am going to attempt to center this on the ceiling. Got to get out of scene preview. All right. All right, let's duplicate that and stick it on this other side. All right, cool. So to make that look like it's lit up, I am going to use the spotlights, and I'm going to use 4 spotlights, 2 pointed up, 2 pointed down. So let's go in the spotlight. All right, I'm going to have to play with that a bit. Where is this pointing towards? It's pointing up. You know what? Let's bring this up so we can really tell. There you go. Let's see, if I point this straight up at the ceiling and I line it up, let's make this wider. If I go 200, that let's just use that for now. Oops. Now, just so you know that the lighting looks a little different in the editor than it does when you publish a room. And that's just something you're going to have to experiment with. So we're going to take that spotlight and I'm going to duplicate that and then turn it down towards the floor. Okay. So we got this kind of thing going on. Let's just take these, duplicate these. Those over. Cool. Let's just preview that real quick. Whoops. Let's just publish it and preview it. So far, so good. The all right. Let's do some decoration here. Let's go with chessboard. Check this one out. So when you're looking for decorations, what you want to do is after you bring in a model, just check how big it is in this GLTF info. This is tiny. Although I don't see any texture on it, so it is pointless. Let's delete that. Let's try this one. This one. It's also pretty small. So let's turn that 90 degrees. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. This. Let me see what the other side looks like. Okay, let's use this side. And then I'll make that a little bigger. Yeah, that's cool. Now we're going to center that. Both of these. The other side. Now it looks like it's more recessed in one side than the other. So I'll just flip those. Oops. All right, that looks pretty good. On this back wall, let's yeah, this gives me an idea. Just clean. Hmm. Do a little 3D art here. See how big this thing is. Ah, not big at all. A bit too large. We have the wall and pretty centered. We'll put it a little higher so that if we say this is the entrance, yeah, looks pretty good. I need a door. Now I've gone through all of these doors. Surprisingly, a lot of them are extremely large. I'd say most of them are between 8 and 18 megabytes. So there's one here. I can just find it. I think it's this one. Let's check this. Yep, very small. We need to use our spawn point as a guide. Guess I want to make it a little bigger. That's good. And then let's just widen it up a bit. There's a bit of a shine on there that I'm not super happy with, but it'll do. And then I guess we need a clock. It's a little low poly. This thing is also very small. See, the texture is not great on it, but it's fine for now. I'm just going to try to center that as much as possible. And let's scale it down a little bit. Yeah, I dig that. But, all right, let's bring in some tables. So let's bring back our default model. This is something like when you do the preview, make sure you turn it off again. I constantly forget. And it makes navigating the room a little difficult. Let's just use this for now. A little big. Let's drop it down. All right. I think, whoops. Let's put a passport on there. Okay, this is the one. This one? Which is the one that you use in your other build? Just make this. Oh, quite heavy. It's low file size, but the poly count is a little high. But I guess if only putting one in the scene, it's not bad. Scale that. Oops. Then uh, let's add a chair. So as I previously explained to you, you're just going to take one of these chairs, export it, bring it into Meshy, and then retexture it. So you can see here the wall I'm using. I've just brought in the model, exported it from the editor, brought it in here, and I think you can see the prompt I used. Red damask wallpaper, wall wallpaper. Damask is this design on it. And so I did the same with this chair model. This is a deep green velvet recliner. Did a pretty good job, so I already have that in my assets. So let's just bring that in. Maybe drop it down a little bit. Are we on the floor? Nope. There you go. skew it a little bit so it looks lived in. Copy that to the other side. Here's the table. I want this guy to be facing. Let's see what that looks like. Still not bad. A little heavy on the lights, but I've not noticed any loading problems on any device with 10 lights so far. Let's just go back to that scene. There you go, man. The chess room. I think I may have to turn the lights down a little, but I think it came out pretty good, man. So now it's your turn.